Friends, I want to welcome you to this daily video devotional. We're on our last week of doing these videos based on our series at Blanc UMC Methodist Church, Gratitude and Generosity. Yesterday in our worship service, we had an opportunity to collect the commitment cards that people put together for their giving to the church in 2021. It's been a weird year already, and we wanted to encourage everyone to take a leap of faith in their giving. To remember that as a church we continue in ministry, even in unusual and difficult times. And it got me thinking about how we finish this series. The series is called Gratitude and Generosity, and we've spent a lot of time now talking about what it means to be grateful for God in our lives, for the things in our lives, and for the people in our lives. And certainly we could find other ways to give thanks, other reasons to give thanks. But I wanted to touch now on what we do with that gratitude. How does it really link with generosity? And so this morning we spend time with a verse out of Proverbs chapter 21, and this is verse 26, and this is what it says. The lazy desire things constantly, but the righteous give without holding back. Now, when we first read this, my first question was, boy, lazy's a rough word, isn't it? And how is lazy the opposite of righteous? Wouldn't unrighteous be the opposite of righteous? But no, the editor used the word lazy, translated that Greek word to lazy, and how the lazy would desire things constantly. And as soon as I read that, I thought, well, I wouldn't necessarily call myself lazy, but there are times where I just want more. And it's not that I need more, it's that I want more. I'm not satisfied with what I've gotten. It's been a while since I've been to a movie, but I used to love going to movies by myself, because it occurred to me that you're sitting alone in a dark room where you're discouraged from talking. So there's nothing wrong with going by yourself. You can go to see a movie that you want to see, and you don't have to feel like you've drugged someone along to be there with you against their will. That you get to enjoy it. And so I would go to these movies, and I would go to get concessions, and of course I'd get a nice big drink to enjoy during the movie, and then I'd get that big popcorn. You know, the tub of popcorn that looks absurd? It reminds you of just how much popcorn there is in there, and then you start to realize that you may go for a refill. That's a real good confidence booster right there, isn't it? I love movie popcorn. And so I'd get the big tub, and I would eat it. And then all of a sudden I'd realize that I would still like more, not because I'm hungry, but because it was so good. I want more of that good thing. Now that's talking about popcorn, but we could also talk about other things, right? One of the things that we know about addiction is it's usually based on that idea that we chase that same feeling that we first had. We want that feeling, we want a better feeling from the first time we tried whatever it is. The alcohol, the drug, the gambling, that sense of accomplishment in work. We will work harder and longer for that feeling again. We'll go out of our ways to try riskier behavior to get that feeling back again. And all of us have that thing in our lives that we'll do that for. It's just some of those things are socially acceptable, some of those things are not. So this says the lazy desire things constantly. And I don't think it's saying lazy as in never do anything. But I think what it's doing is reminding us that the opposite of faithfulness is lazy, because faithfulness is about doing. Faithfulness is about creating. Faithfulness is about imagination and creativity. And so if all we ever want is to do that same thing again and again in hopes that we're going to feel some sort of euphoric pleasure? Is there any value in that? Is there any value in truly just wanting more? And I think what this proverb is reminding us of is that righteousness is not about giving up everything. It's about seeing that everything has value. Everything has value. Our relationship with God has value. The people in our lives have value. And we have received so much valuable things through through those relationships, that we now have something with which we can do something. And so we give without holding back. That's what righteousness is. And so if, like me, you're tired of chasing more things, more stuff, hoping that somehow having more will give you more meaning in life, if you're tired of chasing that, let's let it go. Let's let it go and remind ourselves that righteousness is about doing. It's not about having. Righteousness is about creating. It's not about more. Righteousness is about God. It's not about stuff. And so let us remember where everything in our lives comes from. It comes from God. It begins with God. Let us be like the righteous, who give without holding back. Amen.